Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Well, a picturesque Melbourne's Day sees us arrive at the Reggio Calabria Club as Avondale FC face off against their next challenge, the bright youngsters and high-flying youngsters of Melbourne City. last week provided undefeated results for both of these two sides. Avondale with it wasn't the easiest, but nonetheless a tidy win against St Albans Dynamo, whereas Melbourne City, for all their fantastic work by the number 10 Beckham Baker, they were only able to secure a draw against Caroline Springs George Cross. As for these two sides, it is what is more or less a season-defining clash as to where they might face in the finals race. Avondale currently sit pretty in and around the finals places, so do Melbourne City. But with a team littered with former A-League stars, and Melbourne City, also a team littered with current burgeoning A-League stars, this afternoon's clash will be very, very telling as to where they might face off for the remainder of the campaign. I'm Neil Simons, joined by esteemed co-commentator Gary Parker for this afternoon's clash. Gary, welcome to the commentary box here at Avondale, and this afternoon shapes up to be, in my opinion, what will be the best clash of stylistic football we'll have this round.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. You look at both sides, a bit of contrast. I think they'll play different styles of football. I've been really impressed. I've watched Melbourne City. I saw them play against Oakley. I think they've learned from Melbourne Victory the year before. I think they've got a bit of physicality about them. I think they move the ball really, really well. Stuart McDonald certainly got them well drilled out of possession, which has been a key part of how they've done. The strangest thing for Melbourne City, though, is They've played really, really well, yet they've only won 2 games out of their 8. They've had 4 1-1 draws, good draws against Oakley, Heidelberg, Georges and Altona. Only the 2 wins against the Croatian sides of St Albans and Dundee City. And then you look across, they find themselves 8th, and Avondale are sitting in 6th. They know a win today will put them into the top 3, and they've done really well over this last sort of sticky start, but just getting used to players. So I'll be interested to see if they stick to their 4-4-2, because that may leave space for City to try and pick holes in. But I think both sides will certainly look to try and score goals today.
Absolutely so, and this is, of course, the first meeting between Avondale FC and Melbourne City as well. The first ever meeting in the Senol NPLM Men's Victoria, and the first meeting they've ever had across any competitions. We'll take you through the 2 starting lineups for ourselves today, starting off with the away side of Melbourne City. Of course, they do have Isuzu Ute A-League men's action. That is the most unorthodox kick-off technique I've ever seen for Christian Tchaikovsky.
Listen, I'm a rugby player as well, and that is basically a rugby kick into the corner to try and pin them in.
Oh, wow. Of course, Melbourne City A-League men's side take on, I believe, Brisbane Roar at 5 p.m. So the players have been left in Melbourne will face off against this Avondale team. Lockie Charles in goal. Jaden Nikovsky returns as captain. Matthew Baker, Angus McIntosh, Tobias Servant, Beckham Baker, Isaiah Boston, Roland Ballard, Lawrence Wong, Bessian Kudleshi, and Liam Bonatig. As for the home side, of course, Nosei Tamura, he was sent off last week in that tussle with St Albans. One of the most unorthodox red cards you'll see all season. Jack Gibson in goal. Jacob Muir, Patrick Flopman, Matthew Reid, George Ott, Bruno Fornaroli, Max Green, Blake Carpenter, Stefan Valentini, Christian Tchaikovsky, and Emmeline Wellsmore. You see Ott looks to break the space down that left-hand channel. It's well retained by Boston. And even more so, Bessian Kudleshi. Gary, of course, this City team has really surpassed everyone's expectations so far this season. How might they face up today against what is one of the most regimented, proper footballing teams in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria? Yeah,
I think, as we've said, it's going to be an interesting clash. You can see that Avondale are set up to, when they're going to try and break, they're pushing 2 and the wide men forward into there. Melbourne City, I think I keep saying it's going to be a really interesting. I'm looking at how they've set up Avondale. Look as though they've got the back 4. They've got 2 holders sitting in front, so it looks as though it's a 4-2-3-1 press that they're going to try and play, which is different to what it was at the start, which was 4-4-2.
Here's City come down on that left-hand side through Matt Baker, and that's well into touch by Emmeline Wellsmore. Of course, there's a bit of crossover between Avondale and Melbourne City across these two sides, I guess, by virtue of senior ranks. Bruno Fornaroli, of course, we know what he did for Melbourne City back in the A-League. I guess it goes without saying, really. As I see the throw-in taken on that far side. Well contained is Bruno Fornaroli. Nikovsky providing support. It's impeccable back-to-goal play, and Jacob Muir plays it back. Here's Matthew Reid. Interesting to note that Jacob Muir is sizing up as a number 6 today. Was played in that position a lot in pre-season, and of course did form a very good defensive partnership with Patrick Flopman, but has been moved into that number 6 position. Of course, has made gallivanting runs forward in recent weeks. Here's Baker with the first touch. Servin looking to bide his time, and Flopman and Servin in a bit of a tussle. Of course, Servin arriving across from Melbourne City's, former rivals in Western United.
Quite smart, Severin there. Didn't dive in. There's a tendency with strikers sometimes in that area to sort of give away needless fouls. Showed good patience just to keep Carter pinned in there and win the old throw in. What was really interesting initially was Fornaroli against Najewski. Big Najewski, too much size, and Fornaroli got underneath him and held him off. So he'll get a little bit of a development program today in Najewski when he's going to be against Fornaroli.
Well, that's one of your best apprenticeships to face off against Bruno Fornaroli. Of course, Dejan Nikovsky came back from an ACL injury, which he suffered in October 2024, and of course secured a double against St Albans a few weeks ago. Hasn't been starting in recent weeks due to the addition of Liam Bonatig, but I guess when you're playing against someone 20 years your senior, it's quite the test, dare I say. Here's Lawrence Wong. Balla across the face. It's well held by Jack Gibson, sporting the hat this afternoon in 15-degree weather. However, it is shiny and sunny as can be, so probably the right decision.
Took a bit of a gamble there, Avondale. City had dropped off into a bank of 4-4-2. They left a big space, and Avondale were intent on playing out, and Baker pickpocketed Big Reed at the back there, and they're going to have to be careful of that because City they'll transition really quickly.
Here's Trycheski. That's an immaculate touch. Muro slightly ahead of him. Now played into feet. Bonatig hasn't featured in a Isuzu Ute A-League men's matchday squad since the 28th of February, so Harrison Delbridge's arrival has sort of left him out of place. Here's Angus McIntosh, Boston.
That's what Avondale will leave. They'll leave little pockets of holes in that middle third, and McIntosh is smart enough to pick up the space.
Wong, nice bit of skill. Here's Baker on the right, isolated with Blake Carpenter, drifting inside. Looking to assess his options, and I guess a bit of a miscommunication alongside Roland Balla, and nonetheless City win the throw. Balla, the Western Australian, has had a really, really good start to life in the top tier. Has provided plenty of space down that left-hand channel. Has been a constant fixture within the City team. Baker, Kudleshi. Attempts at the diagonal ball out towards Boston. Can he keep it in play? He can. Of course, sidestepping with Blake Carpenter, who goes to ground.
The referees get conned every time. The defenders are smart. Ex-forwards, you get frustrated. They're big and physical defenders, and they go down with the slightest touch, and it's a cheap giveaway by Isaiah Boston when really Avondale had nowhere to go. But we've already seen both sides have set up in a 4-4-2 block. Avondale really low, conceded half the pitch to Melbourne City, and is going to be trying to find those pockets of space either through good combination play or somebody's going to need a bit of magic.
A bit of magic might be required this afternoon. Of course, Jack Morgan is our man in the middle. One of the most established referees in the space. Here's Boston now, of course, ex-Malvern Jr. Also has featured in Joey's squads in the past. Nice little touch from Boston. Good Leshy. Deft touch. Nikovsky across the Bonatig. One of the tallest centre-half partnerships you'd suspect in the league, Gary.
Yet. You're talking to someone who's 5'6". If you're 5'10", you're big to me, but they are giants at the back.
Absolutely so. Both with fairly different paths. Of course, Bonatig, of course, the brother of Alex Bonatig, who recently signed in the MLS for Portland Timbers. And And, of course, arrived following a stint at Celtic in the youth system. Oss. Lateral ball, Muir. It's a great ball towards his fellow Western Australian, Stefan Valentini, sidestepping. Otts in space, but well cut out by those in, not city blue, but city black, shall we say.
Yeah, Valentini's the one, they're going to try and get him in behind the back four of City. And Giorgio always looks to drop into that little false nine and try and sort of pull a defender out towards him. But at the moment, nobody's really controlled possession. It's a bit of they're trying to feel each other out to see what way the game's going to play. But as we've said, they both play very, very similar when in possession.
Green had time, but we'll leave it for the throw. Was taken quickly, and Nikovsky's not taking no chances, and we'll send that out for a throw-in. Of course, the other City Avondale crossover is, of course, the man in the dugout, Jonathan Germano, when he arrived to Australia, did sign with Melbourne Heart, as it was back in the day, and has lived here ever since. Long throw taken by the Avengers. It had plenty of pace and directedness about it. Now towards Baker. City looking to build up from the back. That's an initial nice piece of skill from Beckham Baker, but Christian Trajewski has cut that out. Here's Fornaroli approaching the byline. That's a brilliant pass to find Jacob Muir. Leaves it short for Valentini on the edge of the area. He's back towards Wellsmore. Still space for the Avengers on that right flank. Valentini looking to bypass the Indonesian youth international. Has done very well there. It's Valentini across the face. Fizzed it in. I guess it's sort of a hit and hope type situation, Gary.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's good play. Valentini gets to the byline. He's trying to pick someone out, but there's a wee bit of pressure now.
Fornaroli's shot is blocked, and this might posit a counter-attacking opportunity for Melbourne City. Servan. It's really good work from Patrick Flotman. Of course, a well-credentialed player across his career. Of course, came off a recent ACL tear after his stint with...
Just what you saw there, Servan, he just got his weight wrong and he's slightly too much on his back foot, and Flotman recognised it and just moved in and shifted him off the ball quite comfortably.
Valentini goes to ground, and the first yellow card of the afternoon goes to Angus McIntosh. Jack Morgan calling that free kick back. Great little deft touch from Giorgio to spot Valentini, who's seeming to make a lot of inside runs this afternoon.
Looks as though he's been given a little bit of a free roll at the moment, and it's just to try and find pockets of space. That's what Giorgio does really well. Sometimes you feel you want him on the last man, but he drops into that space, links the play between the thirds, and he's your classic false nine player who can come in there and leave the space hopefully behind for Fornaroli.
Of course, here is Flotman. Of course, he had the ACL tear whilst after his stint with Seongnam in K2, which is a very, very high level, and just had the two Oz Champ appearances with RPL Leichhardt before arriving at Avondale. Been one of their standouts this season under new regime. Under Jonathan Germano. Muir. And Jack Gibson's taking no chances, and he's going to send that out for a City throw. Really good pressure. Kutleshi. It's applying the pressure. A judge to play on. Here's Max Green, the Canberran, driving through. Did really well initially, but has managed to find space on that left-hand flank across the face, and well held by Nikovsky. But Max Green took a very heavy touch, but still managed to keep it at his feet.
Yeah, Trajewski was in, nipped the ball. Green's been the one as well over the last few weeks. He's certainly influenced games when he was coming off the bench, and you now feel that he's started to establish himself in this Avondale side. I'm looking at the Melbourne City press when Avondale are trying to play out. The front two are interested in the centre backs, but it's Bala who's out on the left. He's the jump. He's the one that's looking to try and come in and jump into that space to try and dispossess Avondale.
Carpenter just I think might have kicked the ball into Servan's nose there. That will definitely sting. Or might it have been his throat? Oh dear. Physio has been called.
Interesting ball over the top there, though. So if you're going to play a high flat line, I think not something you recognise City for. You expect them to be playing through the lines, trying to play, from back to middle through McIntosh, but they went straight over the top in behind. And Severin, I felt if he'd been a little bit more physical to get his body across Carpenter, he could have got himself in behind there, but Carpenter was smart enough to push his body between ball and Severin, and he lifted the ball to try and lift it over his head, and I think he lifted it into either his face or his throat.
Not pretty whatsoever, and hopefully he's okay.
Looks okay. Maybe it's a Scottish thing. Come on, son, get yourself back on.
Here's Jacob Muir. Of course. Hey, he's back on the pitch now. There you go. Well, I guess his words, your words are quite prophetic, Gary.
Yeah. You just have to be careful nowadays. You don't know whether it's serious or not. So, yeah, better to be safe than sorry.
Early ball from Wellsmore. Matt Baker has found himself in a bit of a sandwich with Stefan Valentini, who I'm sure will try and play as many mind games as he can with these youngsters. So entering the 15th
15 in, and we've yet to really have a serious effort and goal over a long throw that was, the ball was bouncing about a little bit, but nothing really serious. I was here for the Avondale Dandy game, and it was very similar. It felt like a game of chess where they were trying to feel each other out, see if they could find weaknesses and everything else. But at the moment, there's been nothing serious to trouble either goalkeeper.
Yeah. Sends a ball long for Neroli. Nikovsky. And Lockie Charles is a keeper that's really good with his feet and has demonstrated that there in droves. Wong. Lateral ball for Boston. That's a heavy touch from McIntosh, and Carpenter slipped. Now Bonatig. Crossing past halfway into feet. Wong. Servan also slipped there as well. Here's Kutleshi. Well cut out by George Ott. Here's Fornaroli. Oh, his pass has been misplaced. Here is Lawrence Wong on his left. Looking to play the bullet through ball to Servan, just couldn't quite get the poise on it.
They watered the pitch before the game, which they always do to try and make it move a bit quicker. We were here a fortnight ago, and it's a good pitch, but it can get a little bit greasy, and the players nowadays still prefer short, mouldy studs, and with it being so lush, you're going to lose your footing a little bit if you don't get your feet right.
Here's Valentini. Chance for Avondale on the counter. Valentini looking to poke it through for Fornaroli, but that's well cut out by Jaden Nikovsky, City's captain for this afternoon. And Carpenter with a great sliding effort to cut out Beckham Baker.
He scored a couple of good goals recently, Baker, and you could tell Carpenter is the way to try and negate a talented player is pick the right moment to get tight when his back's away from goal and try and make the game physical, because if he gets you turned, then that's when you're under pressure.
Valentini seems to be in a bit of a heap here, and Jimmy Jago is going to marshal instructions to his players. Of course, the ex-Melbourne City Socceroo. I mean, what a great player to learn off, or ex-player to learn off, rather.
I think that's what you're looking for the youngsters. They've come up, they're getting exposed to senior football. They've played a lot at a high level in the age grades. But when you've got someone who's been there and can pass it's the little bits, and sometimes it's also the mentality you're trying to get across into the players, because from a technical point of view they should all be at a level that has been embedded over years and years. It's sometimes the little mental side of things that you're trying to get into someone's brain. Some players sometimes have a bit of self-doubt sometimes, so it's that confidence to say, hey, go and express yourself in the front. part of the field or defensively, be brave in the tackle situation. So, I've liked what I've seen so far from Melbourne City today. They're compact, they're well organised, and that side of the game, that physicality that they're bringing now is certainly, it could be either a bit of magic or a misplaced pass for transition that could cause the issue for a team.
Of course, no Stuart McDonald in a dugout for City this afternoon, so Jimmy Jago is standard head coach today, and he would definitely be one of the youngest coaches in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria, at least for just today. What an esteemed career at Austria Vienna, as well as Hibernian as well in Scotland. It's brilliant space for Beckham Baker to find. Trycheski with a sliding challenge.
Yeah, you know what, if Beckham thinks he's going to get a bit of space today, when you start scoring goals and making things happen, then you suddenly don't become a surprise package anymore. There's enough video analysis, there's enough stuff to be able to watch and understand how someone plays, and he's going to have to work hard for every bit of space he gets today.
Here's Blake Carpenter. This is the pass into Fornaroli, who's in an offside position. Nikovsky towards Bonatig.
Because the game's so slow, it's allowing both sides to set up what you class as the rest defence. It's 4-4-2 for Avondale. They're trying to compress the line so that there's no space for people to drop into, and they're being very, very patient, because what you've got to do is be brave enough to hold your shape and not jump out and leave someone a little half hole to run into.
Servant unable to bypass Patrick Flotman. Now Carpenter, heavy touch. They dealt well with it, and Avondale looked to play out from the back. Deft touch from Fornaroli. Now Green on chasing is Boston, but it's as if the Canberran has got the most of him. And Nikovsky with a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. And the mighty tall Jaden Nikovsky, captain as a teenager, has done tremendously well there.
That's great defending. I mean, that's quality defending. He just read the situation and just put his body in there, and it was just a good old-fashioned shoulder-to-shoulder.
On chasing was Trycheski, but Lockie Charles had to come out of his box there. Kudleshi, of course, originally a City youngster. He's got very deep connections with North Sunshine Eagles as well. Made the move across to Western United. In actual fact, featured in that Australia Cup match against Sydney FC before they went into hibernation and returned across to Melbourne City. Started a few games earlier in the Isuzu Ute A-League season. Since that point, hasn't been afforded as many luxuries across the campaign.
It's pretty static. I'm looking at the front end of the pitch, and your front three are standing still. Midfield three are there. Baker's just sitting in that hole as well. It might be time to try and turn one over the top and try and turn the defence to see if they can find space there, because if they just keep passing the ball back and forward, Avondale are just going to sit in.
Nikovsky. Crossfield ball from Baker. And the aforementioned Matt Baker might have dealt with that well, as he should have, rather.
It's a game for the purists at the moment, isn't it? It's just it's cat and mouse. It's just move ball. There's an example there, Kuchlesi, he gets a half turn, and instead of turning and going forward, happy to go back through the line, and they could cause himself problems.
Here's Fornaroli, he's got the best of Dana Nikovsky. It's Bruno Fornaroli across to Georgiot, sidesteps, shoots, and scores. Vintage El Tuna. And his striking partner, Georgiot, delivers for the Avengers. And there's textbook play from this Avondale veteran.
Yeah, it's a great finish, and you know what? It's composure. We said a piece of magic or a mistake. It's in transition. The Jeski, you can't make mistakes. It's a memorable mistake. Fornarolis gets underneath him body wise. He's too strong. He's away. Now you would expect him to think about pulling the trigger there because he's bearing in on goal, but appreciates that George Ott's in a better position, plays it to him, and I thought George Ott showed some brilliant composure, switches it onto his left foot, and Lucky Charles has got no chance there, and all of a sudden, out of nothing, Avondale find themselves a goal to the good, and City are going to have to chase, and we said it might be a piece of magic or a mistake, and that's what it's proved to be.
Well, it was always going to be a difficult task for Avondale to have two impeccable strikers in Bruno Fornaroli and George Ott coexisting. They can coexist, and that is his first goal since that tremendous 5-0 win against Green Gully in late February. His second goal for the campaign for George Ott. City now have to respond. Here's Kutleshi. The crossfield ball finds its way towards Beckham Baker, who keeps it in play. Boston. Now Baker. Tricky feet. Past Max Green. Nikovsky.
It's nice work. It's nice footwork, but he's going where Avondale want him. You want Beckham Baker going forward and influencing the game in the final third of the pitch, and Avondale will be quite happy all day for Baker to turn and go back and play to his centre backs.
Absolutely. So it seems as if they're trying to suffocate him more or less, as Gibson is forced to play out. Ott into feet, chests it down. Kutleshi. Baker.
Remember how we said about video analysis and you're no longer a surprise package? 3 on him.
Here's Kutleshi looking to enter the penalty area region and is won a free kick for his side in a very, very dangerous position, and it looks as if Lawrence Wong and Beckham Baker are going to stand over this one.
Yeah, it is a cheap foul from Trzaskowski. You know, he's got himself wrong side, and he's conceded a cheap free kick 20-25 yards out. Wong was quick onto the ball. He certainly fancies this, and again, it's cheap possession that's given away in your own final third. That if you do lose, you're susceptible to transition really quickly.
Will it be Wong or Beckham Baker? We will soon find out. Of course, Lawrence Wong previously featured in the Young Socceroos. It's Lawrence Wong. Oh, it took a deflection, but Gibson with the miraculous save. Wowee! Phenomenal reaction. We're standing right behind it. It's a great strike. It takes a flick off a defender in front, but wow, Gibson, strong wrists. You know, manage it. He gets his angles right, but that's a phenomenal stop with the ball taking the slight deflection. Phenomenal. It was a remarkable save, even without the deflection. The deflection just adds an extra 5 style points to it, don't you think?
Yeah,
wow.
You know, we always do. It's goal of the week all the time, but let's start bringing the goalkeepers in for save of the week, because that was a phenomenal save.
That was a really well taken free kick as well from Lawrence Wong. He would be absolutely kicking himself there. And might Avondale use that moment of magic as a moment for inspiration as well, as Ott did really well there to break the space. Back to goal. Trzaskowski leaves it short for Muir. He's going to take his time. Once again, Avondale beginning to find their rhythm.
It's George Ott that's finding a little bits of space, and what he's really good at is he can either play the ball first time or he can pull it into himself and link the play.
Carpenter managed to keep it in play. Boston now. McIntosh was deflected. Here's Blake Carpenter again. He's got Trzaskowski to his right. Looking to twist and weave. Back towards Flopman now. Of course, also spent some time with Sydney FC and Brisbane Roar alongside Air Force United. In Asia, Valentini switching wings. Looks to get the better of Boston. Can't do so.
Been impressed with Boston so far this season. Strong defensively, he's got pace. I think he could add more in the front third of the field for Melbourne City as an overlapping modern day fullback, but he certainly does his defensive duties really well.
Well, he has done immensely well. Here is Patrick Flopman. Christian Trajewski just on halfway. Flopman again. City looking to press Avondale centre halves. Doing quite a good job of it at the moment, but since that free kick opportunities haven't quite been forthcoming as Jacob Muir plays it back towards Jack Gibson, who of course spent time at the Western Sydney Wanderers Academy with a full year at Marconi in 2023 before re-signing with...
Little change defensively from Melbourne City. They've decided they've lost the goal. They find themselves a goal down. They're not really sitting in at the moment and letting Avondale press. They're trying to press onto the ball.
Here's Muir. Trademark midfield run from the Western Australian as Carpenter looks to play a lateral ball towards Valentini. City playing dangerously here in their box and have done well there.
It's brilliant play. It's comfortable. It's confident. They've moved the ball quickly, and here's
Boston on the right, who just can't keep it in play.
It's a poor ball by Wong. It's an opportunity. They've transitioned quickly. You know, you've got Boston, who's got himself forward and acres of space. You're looking for that 2 seconds of complete concentration to hit the perfect pass, and Wong overcooks it.
Unfortunately so, of course, back on Gibson. Spent time with Sydney Olympic last season as well, and did play those 6 games in the Australian Championship. Not often do you see players move across from Sydney to Melbourne. He's one of a few at Avondale alongside Eric Moe on the bench this afternoon. Nikovsky.
That's smart by Fornaroli. He knows that Najeski's made the big mistake, and the moment he gets the ball, he's pressing him just to see how confident he still is.
Oh, that's wonderful from Kutleshi. But the pass just didn't have the poise required, as well as more cheaply gives it away. And now City will try again here. This time through Liam Bonatig. Kutleshi just turned 17 about 6 weeks ago. Remarkable to be playing senior football in the A-League at the age of 16 as he makes a lung-busting run. Boston checks. He's got a lot of space to work with and finds the advent of Beckham Baker, who's overcooked the cross.
That's what Boston can give you. I think we were speaking before we came on air, Neil, that I remember Isaiah Boston as a youngster, and he played as a striker, and he scored goals for fun. He was big, he was physical, he was at Malvern, and he scored goals in the age grades as he was coming up through. And you can see when he gets into the front third, he still has the composure of someone who's used to playing in that front area of the pitch, and he could be the outlet. But Baker, for someone of his quality in that situation, that's a poor ball.
That's a delightful ball from Christian Trajewski. It's Valentini looking to go towards the byline across the face. No late box crashing runs from Avondale as Baker managed to beat past Blake Carpenter, and a bit of a receipt there from Blake Carpenter. You never want to experience something like that, and has gone into the book maybe more out of pure frustration rather than necessity.
Yeah, you know what? Baker's done well. He's pulled him in, he's slipped it past him, he's quick over 10, 15 metres, and all of a sudden Carpenter, you know what? He's a typical defender. He has that physicality about him, doesn't like that, and he's conceded a foul, but more importantly, he's picked up a yellow card with an hour to go, and Baker will try, and they've swapped over Bala as well. He's come over. That's an area you want to start attacking, because he really can't afford one more slip up when you're on a yellow card.
Absolutely so. City will view that as a blessing in disguise, really. Here is Liam Bonatig as we approach the 33rd minute here at the Reggio Calabria Club, Avenger Park, in this round 9 Senol NPL Men's Victoria clash. Here's Jacob Muir on that right-hand touchline. In defeat Trajewski.
The switch was on. There was Fornaroli and Valentini were free on the left-hand side. If Trajewski had just switched the ball quickly, because all of a sudden City had decided they were going to attack in this wide area.
Well, that was a golden opportunity for Boston to play it into space and just messed up the first touch. Kutleshi back towards Boston, who's driven infield. Bonatig out wide now is Beckham Baker. Well done by the Kiwi and Emlyn Wellsmore, and has won the ball back in acres of space here for the Avengers. He's got George Ott to his left, across to Bruno Fornaroli, who shoots. It's well held by Lockie Charles.
Both opportunities, both best chances in this half have fallen to Avondale based on individual errors of losing ball in key areas of the field, and Avondale moved the ball quickly. Fornaroli, you knew what he was trying to do. We're directly behind him, but he just didn't get enough purchase on the ball. That's one of those finishes where you have to place it on the outside of the post and bend it in.
Another cheap giveaway from Melbourne City, and as Avondale look to mount the pressure.
Avondale will be happy. Things have settled down for them. They look as though they've got an opportunity to try and force the game.
As that ball did run out of play, Valentini does poke it through, and it seems as if Avondale Juniors behind the goal are pretty happy with that. Bonatig now plays it back towards Lockie Charles. He's had, of course, with James Neuenhausen stepping up between the sticks in recent weeks. He's had a few bench appearances in the Isuzu Youth A-League men's competition as Kutleshi forces it wide. Trycheski also gives it away cheaply.
Yeah, as I say, I think Melbourne City have changed their defensive setup a little bit. They've decided to press a bit higher. They've decided to push, rather than dropping back into the 4-4-2, they're pushing on to try and win the ball higher up the field, but that also leaves more space in behind if you get your press wrong.
Yeah, did well there. Ott. Now Bonatig. Taking his time. Finds space for Lawrence Wong. He's got space and time to shoot. Does so. And Gibson will claim.
Again, they've not really opened Avondale up at all. It's been, the free kick from Wong, which was a phenomenal save by Jack Gibson. But overall, they've never really put much sustained pressure or combination play to cause Avondale problems, and the transitions where they've been under pressure.
Oh, Fornaroli did really well there. The pass was slightly ahead of him from Trycheski, but City might view this as an opportunity to counter themselves. But as we see now, Lawrence Wong in space, and with space to roam. Reid stepping back and did really well there. Did Matthew Reid. Jacob Muir. Of course, 33 appearances in the A-League men for the Glory. As we do see now, Max Green on the right. Cutting inside. Into the area he goes. Green, Fornaroli. Oh! Whisked wide of the goal from Bruno Fornaroli, looking for his 5th goal of the season.
You'll be disappointed with that. I mean, that is, for someone of his calibre and his class, we're talking 8-9 metres out, the ball falls to him. Green, good movement from Green. The ball breaks to Fornaroli, and you can see he's shaking his head. He knows that's a gilt-edged chance, to put Avondale 2-0 up. And again, Green, great feet, comes inside, but big chance for the second for Avondale. You really feel that Avondale look the side to score the next goal the way it's been playing, because I think City have been wasteful in the front third, and they really need to start being clinical and picking the right pass.
Might it start with this man, Roland Balla. Heavy touch towards Boston. Max Green has switched wings again. The arrival from Canberra, Croatia, of course. He's actually spent some time here in Victoria with Pascoe and didn't really wow plaudits in the lower tiers. now he's received his opportunity. Of course, when you do score 21 goals in 13 games with Gungahlin in 2023, you're bound to attract some attention. He did so, and of course did score against Preston last year in the Oz Championship as well. As you see, Green in a bit of a heap here, but rather Wellsmore. Here's Kutleshi. Sent that over the bar, but took a deflection. According to Jack Morgan, and it will be a corner for the away side.
Is it me, or there's been quite a few heavy touches today? The ball's been, you expect at this level and this calibre, you're expecting the ball to stick a bit better, but there's been a lot of heavy touches which have created 50-50 opportunities for people. But you spoke about it at the start, Neil, the big timber's up. It's just get the ball in the right area and let them attack it.
Well, they were set-piece marvels against St Albans a few weeks ago. Might not be able to do so today again. Loop towards a back post. And I think that was Jaden Nikovsky. Got to head to it.
Initially, I thought that was a decent chance. I think if Nikovsky had kept his eye on the ball, there was a little half chance, because the ball looped and dipped late to the back post. It was only about 2 or 3 metres beyond the back post, and I think maybe on second view that might have been an opportunity if he'd attacked it a bit quicker.
Perhaps, indeed. See Michael Theoklitos and Shane Rikshepi giving instructions. What a great coaching staff to have. Plenty of experience to, I guess, counteract the inexperience from Germano at a senior level. Nonetheless, done a very good job this season so far. Ott, Green. It's a heavy touch, but Avondale still have time. Valentini towards Green. Oh, again. That same left-hand side, and they are adamant it took a deflection. Avondale players, but Jack Morgan didn't see it. Neither did his assistants.
I thought that was, didn't take any touch, but again, it's Green. He's the one that's creating those little half chances, balls flashing across the box. And realistically, you're looking either for Fornaroli or George Ott to gamble a little bit. Probably need to get 2 or 3 metres further forward and try and get to the edge of the 6-yard box there, because that's 2 or 3 times the ball's flashed across the goal mouth.
Well, there is the yellow card to Matt Reid. He'll go into the book. 5 minutes to go in regulation time in this first half. Gary, City, they have the quality. What's been missing for them so far?
I would say there's been a lack of connection between the mid to front third, and you've had Beckham Baker, who's had the ball in all the wrong areas for Melbourne City. He's not had it in the front third. I think there's been a couple of chances they've got wide that they're and there's a prime example. Their accuracy in the right areas of the field have let them down. They really have. So you think of one half chance off the free kick, but apart from that, we're standing here thinking if anybody looks as though they're going to get the second goal, it's Avondale, and they'll probably be disappointed that they haven't got it yet, because they're transitioning really quickly off individual errors from Melbourne City.
Patrick Flopman. Back towards Jack Gibson. Boston heads. Mikovsky. McIntosh. Of course, formerly of the FTS Academy. At a younger level. That's smashing from Ott. And here's Fornaroli. With an opportunity potentially on the horizon for the Avengers. It's Trycheski in space. Christian Trycheski. Over the bar. Again,
an individual error in the middle of the field. I don't know how many times City are going to try and get away with this. They're trying to pull people onto them, and when they're pulling them in, Avondale they're too physical. They need to move the ball quicker, pass and move, because that's been the downfall for City. They've been a masters of their own downfall at the moment, because they've conceded cheap possession when they don't need to.
There was Baker, switched to this left-hand flank now. And Valentini has absolutely suffocated him. He's had a very, very tough afternoon. Has Beckham Baker, as Green finds Carpenter, Fornaroli on the left. Couple of rollovers. Back towards Carpenter. Here's Green. Blake Carpenter. Fornaroli. Out towards Trycheski now. On his right-hand flank. Into feet is Max Green. Rather, Valentini. High looping ball. Carpenter is there. No one to meet it. And City win it back now as playing dangerously. And they do cough it up yet again. Wellsmore. Out to Valentini. Trycheski. 23 versus 23. Across the face again. Here is Valentini entering the area. Going right. Going left. Twinkle toes towards the back post. There is Carpenter. Keeps it in just about. Fornaroli. Very patient here. Very patient.
It's just the use of his body. You know, when you see him, he just gets himself tucked underneath the defender to be able to use his strength to hold him off. But you know what the thing that's also really impressing me, Green and Valentini are swapping sides at every opportunity. They're really trying to work each side of the pitch against Melbourne City, and they're building up a little bit of a head of steam. There's good interplay between Avondale, lots of player movement.
Blake Carpenter isn't too happy. Here's Jacob Muir. Flopman. Of course, also has Australian youth credentials as well. As Lockie Charles, with just about 10 seconds left in regulation, will get play underway for Melbourne City. As we look towards the fourth official. Here's Trycheski in transition. Can he find Ott? He can, but he gave away the foul. 2 minutes of added time.
It's the story of the first half. Ball into the central corridor from Melbourne City. Coughed up really cheaply. Avondale aren't having to really work hard to sort of regain possession. You know, City are moving the ball from the back to the middle third. They're playing through that central channel, which Avondale have picked up as an area that they can get to. They're getting really tight on the first receiver, and they're turning City over time and time again, and they are going to come unstuck, City, unless they start to protect this ball a bit better, because Avondale are picking time and space all the time.
Here's Green. It's a fantastic touch. And the Uruguayan. Turned Australian. Ott. It's Green. Valentini!
It's too easy. It's too easy for Avondale. They are actually passing round the City defence at the moment. There's no pressure. So City have set up their defence, but they've set up in a situation that no one is affecting the game defensively for them. They might be in a nice shape, but the Avondale are just passing and moving round them at the moment.
As they should. Here is Lockie Charles. Bonatig. This will likely be City's final chance of the first half. Nikovsky. Charles. It's overhit from Liam Bonatig. That might be the final action of the first half.
Sums them up. Some City up in this first half. That final pass by Bonatig, it's just steps inside. There was no options available. He tries to hit a diagonal, and he just about hits it to me and you, Neil.
Well, the first half in this Senol NPL Men's Victoria clash has come to a close. The opening goal from George Ott. City continue to make very integral mistakes. and Avondale have capitalised. Score at half-time, 1-0. Welcome back to this round 9 Senol NPL Men's Victoria clash between Melbourne City and the home side, Avondale. Opening goal from George Jott in the first half is where proceedings are at this current moment in time. I'm Neil Simons, joined by Gary Parker. For City, Gary, it's a very intriguing proposition. How do you approach the second half?
I think they don't need to go gung-ho, because we were chatting about this. The last 5 games have had 4-1-1s, so I think in the classic football environment, next goal's really, really important. I think they've got to stop giving away cheap possession and leaving themselves open to transition. But I think Stuart McDonald, he'll expect a bit more energy about them. I thought they were very predictable and slow first half. I thought there wasn't much energy in trying to get the ball through the lines quickly and try and get people to take players on 1v1. So I'd expect them to try and play the game in the Avondale half a lot more this half.
Flopman. Yeah, Trycheski leaves a path for Green. Oh, it's a poor giveaway. Here's Lawrence Wong. He's got Beckham Baker to his left. Isolated with Emlyn Wellsmore. It's Beckham Baker driven low.
And that's the first time Baker has managed to get himself isolated with Wellsmore 1v1. There was not a second defender coming across, so Baker had the option to go inside. He was disappointed with the shot. It was pretty tame, but first time that City have managed to get their main playmaker on the ball in a 1v1 situation.
Absolutely so. Jimmy Jago, of course, stand-in coach today for Melbourne City. Usually is the assistant coach to Stuart McDonald. Reed. Valentini. Well held by Melbourne City now. Lockie Charles. Out towards Jaden Nikovsky. Leaves a path for Kutleshi, who's in a very good space to attack, but Valentini will win it back for the Avengers. Now Trycheski. He's got Ott in the middle. It's George Ott. His touch was heavy. Now for Green.
That's a great chance. You know, the pass, I think, by Trycheski was just to his wrong side. It was just slightly inside him. It needed to be to potentially his back foot so that he could shift it quickly from left to right to get a shot away. But we just spoke about that accuracy in the key moments. A little bit disappointed again from Avondale. But you do feel that City, there's a bit more energy about them. You heard Jago wanting them to get up the pitch a bit quicker, squeeze the game a bit.
Ott. Green. Muir. He hasn't really just about put a foot wrong, has Jacob Muir? He's done his job in the heart of midfield, really. Wellsmore. Now Matthew Reid. Muir. Ott. And Baker got across to cover. Matt Baker. And Blake Carpenter will leave it.
It sounds like a broken record. There's a huge amount of space in the middle of this field at the moment for somebody to be able to get in, drop, turn and attack the back four. But Avondale, there's huge spaces between the lines at the moment. They're just playing Muir in that holding 6, but there's a good 15-20 metres between him and the front 5 at the moment.
Muir. Trycheski will leave a path for Valentini. He gets to it first, but Liam Bonatig was more assured in his defensive intuition and draws the foul.
Looks as though it's a set up from Avondale, playing 4 at the back, pushing everybody onto the back 4 of City and leaving Muir available to play that link position in the middle of the field, which is going to force City to try and find holes.
Wong. We did well there, but it's cut out by the Avengers now, and Trycheski looking to chip Lockie Charles. A bit of a bait and switch from the young City keeper.
You know how close it is when it's bounced underneath the scoreboard at the far end of the pitch. It was the right idea. He looked up, he saw Lucky Charles was off his line, but he probably needed to make that decision a couple of seconds earlier, because even if he'd have managed to get the trajectory on the ball, Charles was well in a situation to get back and make a comfortable catch.
Absolutely so. Here's Angus McIntosh. Boston. No foul according to Jack Morgan, and that midfield run from Matthew Reid has led to an overhit pass. Fornaroli now taking position on that left-hand flank. Approaching his 40s, can still play on the wing, it seems.
Avondale they're pretty well set up. Look as though George Ott's dropping into that area there to try and make sure that McIntosh doesn't have a free rein in that 6 role when they're out of possession. I think they've recognised that, you know, City are always trying to activate a 6 in that area to keep the ball moving.
Here is Jack Gibson, Matthew Reid. Trycheski. Now Flopman. Avondale looking to build and opt to go long now. Boston did well, but has given it away cheaply. Here's Fornaroli. He's got space to find options. Goes to ground and is awarded the free kick. In a very, very good position for Avondale.
He just knows what to do with his body. He just puts it in there. He's driving in. Tchaikovsky was inside. He was trying to think about trying to make the inside pass, but he just pulled the defender on, takes the free kick, 20-25 out. First real chance for Avondale at the start of this second half. And I've just noticed that the Hume game's finished. St Albans have won at Hume, which is just this season. Just anybody's capable of beating anybody at the moment.
Here is Fornaroli. Spilled by Lockie Charles and makes a great double save. Maybe we'll call it a 1.5 save from Lockie Charles. Muir with a heavy touch. Now space for City. Here's Kutleshi, who gives it away cheaply. Now Wellsmore. The follow-up was a really, really good stop for the City youngster. And might Avondale be set a task on his left-hand side. Max Green. Lateral. Trycheski. He's got Ott in the middle. Trycheski goes to ground. And Jack Morgan says that is not a spot kick for you.
Nah, you know, Lucky Charles will breathe a sigh of relief, because the first one, he should be holding that all day long. He spills it. And as it comes out, his reactions are huge. He doesn't dwell on it. He's up. He makes himself big, and it's a brave second save to keep Avondale out and keep City in this game.
Really, really good work from Lockie Charles, and Wong has found an avenue to attack. Held by Jacob Muir. He'll go into the book as well. Game beginning to open up just that little bit.
It is. You know, what's noticeable is I feel that City are moving the ball through the lines a bit quicker, really trying to make sure that they can keep the game and stop Avondale getting set up into their defensive structure. It's going to be transition for City.
And the first change has been brought about this time for Melbourne City. Coming off will be Tobias Servant, oncoming Aaron Cartwright, of course. The New Zealander, at least at a youth level, has been primarily utilised as a bench option. 8 goals in 8 games.
Yeah, you say that Severin's not really impacted the game at all today. His link play's been poor at times.
As a cross comes in from City, it's doesn't find a Avondale player, so will be a goal kick. Of course, Aaron Cartwright with a bench appearance in the ACL Elite as well. And 7 goals in 7 games, rather, for New Zealand's under-17s. So pretty good record at Oceania level. Might he be the man to provide success for City? It seems as if Wong or Baker will take the number 9 position. Cartwright will be forced out wide. Beckham Baker was, of course, the number 9 last week against Caroline Springs George Cross. Kugleschi, space for Baker. Balla across the face. Cartwright was there in space. There's a good delivery from Balla. And Cartwright again, twisting, weaving. Boston. McIntosh. Bonatig stepping up, looking to drive himself. It's cut out by Reed. City with a higher line in this 10-minute stretch as...
A bit more urgency about City, moving the ball a bit quicker, movements a bit sharper. You know, that's a great opportunity. Maybe just caught Cartwright cold. He's just come on. You know, he's only on for a minute. His movement I felt he didn't anticipate the ball missing the defender, and as it comes across, it just gets away from him. You know, maybe up to speed a bit quicker in the game. He might have anticipated that because it was a good opportunity. But you know what? I think Avondale have been a little bit architects of their own issues at the moment because they're playing a huge space between the back line and the front line, which is leaving transitional space for City when they get ball to really push the ball quickly through the line and transition very quickly.
Here's City through Baker of the Beckham variety, and Christian Trajewski is, in fact, dare I say Max Green rather, will go into the book here. So City with a very intriguing opportunity, just about 5 yards or so from the centre circle.
Bit more about City this half, isn't there, Neil? More about them.
Oh yeah, the more of the Melbourne City we're used to be honest. McIntosh, Muir, bit of contact there, but now it is Liam Bonatig with the outside of the foot pass. Wellsmore will head it back, space for Roland Balla to attack.
Mixing the game a little bit now. They're trying to play through the middle and also happy to go over the top into the wide area.
Wong, tricky feet, provided the nutmeg for full effect. Fornaroli back to goal on Bonatig, and wow, Liam Bonatig did really well there. Now with Jana Nikovsky. Tempo adjusting to City's liking. McIntosh doesn't quite drive, and will bring it to this near left-hand side. Oh, that's a heavy pass. It's sort of a heavy pass in disguise almost.
It's been word of the day, heavy touch. Or phrase of the day, I should say.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Nikovsky.
4-4-2 structure again by Avondale. They're pretty banked up well with their 2 banks of 4.
Bonatig. Lead space for Jaden Nikovsky. Of course, Ryan Calm's benched this afternoon.
Balla's free at the back if they were prepared to try and switch, because actually Wellsmore had been pulled really inside, and Bella must have about 20 metres of space out wide.
They do switch it, and the last touch has come off Blake Carpenter. So, the corner kick for Melbourne City. Lawrence Wong will stand over this one. Of course, the rising star for the month of February. Can he fashion in a great delivery? He has done so, and Jacob Muir will flick it over the top. We're going to take this one. Will be Beckham Baker on his right foot.
You feel at the moment this is the best opportunity. It's the best situation for City if they can get the delivery in the right area. You've got Boateng who's got the ability to attack the ball. Same with Nikodjewski.
Baker, well dealt with by City. It's Boston. It's high, it's wide.
And not very handsome, as they would say.
No, have a hit, son. He's done so. course, more action tonight. George Cross take on Heidelberg United. And Altona Magic take on Dandenong Thunder.
Interesting call there from Valentini to George. What I picked up there was they were saying, instead of trying to switch it, if it's in this area here, let's keep the ball moving down the same channel. Don't take chances on the switch.
Always good to get that perspective from the commentary tower here at Avondale. It's a heavy pass from Baker, which is just going to force Liam Bonantic further deep into his half, which is what City don't want. Here's Nikolsky now. And again, they go down that right flank. Trycheski. Oh, it's well won back by Kutleshi. And Carpenter. Of course, the South Australian doing really well there. He's had an injury-troubled few seasons. Sort of played backup to Dan Edwards last campaign, and he's since signed for the Wellington Phoenix. As Fornaroli is able to bypass Matt Baker and will drive and has space to roam, and he will go into the book as well.
Just that naivety from the youngster Baker there. The ball's bouncing. Fornaroli again. His use of his body to get between ball and defender and then roll him with his momentum is huge. You're not going, Matt Baker's not going to win that physical battle. And so what he's got to do is got to try and get onto the ball a bit quicker and not let Fornaroli get underneath him. And when he does, you're not going to keep the ball. He's going to take it off you.
Oh, you would suspect it will probably be
Carpenter. He scored against Dundee City, very similar situation. I don't think Lucky Charles will leave the near post as open as Pierce Clark did that day.
I'm not
Sun's
sure
in his eyes.
I doubt he'll go direct here, but he has. And Lucky Charles palms it away.
Good strike. You could see it. It was never really going to trouble Lucky Charles apart from the sun. As you can see, he's got his hands over his eyes. But again, from Avondale's point of view, they can't afford to sit in too much and invite pressure from City. They really need to go and search for that second goal.
Here is Blake Carpenter. Works it in well. Green looks to break away and wins another corner for Avondale.
He's looked lively all day, Green.
Yeah.
We spoke about it in the first half. He's worked both sides. He's shown energy. He's gone looking to try and find little chinks in the Melbourne City armour, and good control, strong to go through two tackles, that little corridor. And Avondale with a little bit of pressure that they need to keep the game up this end of the field.
Trycheski now. Good delivery. And Carpenter's going to keep it in for George Ott potentially. And he couldn't quite get full force of his head onto it. Kudleshi. Oh, he's done really well there. And Flotman gets in the way too. All regulatory according to Jack Morgan. Valentini shapes it back for Fornaroli. Valentini and McIntosh dealt with it well. Now Valentini across the face. Ott had the angle to shoot initially. Well dealt with by Kutleshi. Ott still has it. A cross to Valentini. Now Trycheski keeps it in past the byline across the face, and it's bundled home and thrashed home by that man, El Tuna Bruno Fornaroli.
Yeah, predator instinct. The best strikers always operate between the posts, and that's where it was. George Ott did well. Trycheski did really well to drill it across, and Fornaroli just drifting into that little anticipated space where the ball's going to be. And like all good strikers, there was the great Gary Lineker always used to say he got upset when people said he was lucky because he was in the right place at the right time. He always said he was in the right place at the right time all the time. The ball just never came, and that's where Fornaroli was. He's across to the bench. He's delighted, and that's a big, big goal for Avondale. It's 2-0, and it could be a long way back now for Melbourne City. But both their strikers on the sheet, Ott and Fornaroli today, and Avondale look as though they're heading into the top 2 if the score stays the same.
5 goals this season for Fornaroli. It's been a really, really good start to his time in this competition, and has done exactly what we suspect. As Bala across the face. Oh, that was a golden opportunity for City if Baker could have got there in time.
I thought Wellsmore switched off there. It was a tasty little ball down the line, and Bella, great touch, got inside, got to the byline, just didn't have anybody inside to pick out.
Boston City with a mountain to climb now of astronomical proportions, and for Avondale, they want to hold firm. Cartwright able to beat past Carpenter. Oh, he did really well there. It's a tricky challenge to make when you're on a yellow card, but he backed himself in there. But nonetheless, City do win it back again through Kutleshi. Ball fizzing around on that right flank. Of course,
you're always susceptible to a goal after you've got that second one. Fornaroli's at the bench celebrating. Avondale feel they've done enough, and straight away City give them a timely warning that this game of football can change in a split second.
And a split second indeed now, as we see City down that right-hand side. Cartwright. Of course, Avondale have a quick turnaround. They face off against Werribee City on the 21st of April in a few days' time in the Doherty Cup, the New Balance Doherty Cup. Fornaroli did really well there. He's got the run of Valentini to his far right and decides not to use him. Now Reed. Oh, he's made a meal of that.
He's got a right smile on his face. That comes completely off the side of his foot. But again, Avondale inviting a little bit of pressure on when realistically you've just got the second goal. You want the game probably being played in behind Melbourne City at the moment, so that if they do pick up possession, they find themselves 70, 80 metres away from where they need to be. Don't encourage it onto you when you don't need to.
Precisely there. As we see Matt Baker. Oh, that's a wonderful piece of skill from Beckham Baker. Cut up by Wellsmore, and space for Bala. He's going to drive towards the byline, and can he chip it past Jack Gibson? He didn't, but it's poked through. And I believe it come off the Kiwi and Aaron Cartwright with his first goal for Melbourne City this season in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria. Great work from the Western Australian.
Yeah, Cartwright was in the right place at the right time, but you know what? Avondale brought that on themselves. They've just got the second goal. They're trying to be fancy in their back third. You'll never score goals when the ball's 70, 80 metres away from your own goal. They played around. It was a brilliant bit of play by Bella. Chipped to the far post. It was Jack Gibson just couldn't get a hand on it. Cartwright's at the back, and all of a sudden it's game on.
Game on, indeed. This is now beginning to live up to what we all expected going into this game. And Avondale have to hold firm here. And Jaden Nikovsky has given a bit too much to Bruno Fornaroli. He's been beaten up a few times today as the two sides in a bit of a tussle here. Nikovsky, of course, Fornaroli, if he's 20 years his senior, he's not too happy with him.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, there's two sides to this. Okay, so the first side is he's not happy with it. The second side, which is part of the psychological advantage of a senior player like Fornaroli, trying to take the sting out the game. If you noticed, City have got the goal. They're trying to get a bit of momentum to try and get things up and running. Just broken the game up, slowed it down, taken the sting away from Melbourne City's momentum, and it's just brought the whole game to a shuddering halt while City are desperate to keep this momentum going forward.
Nikovsky has gone into the book. Fornaroli just receiving a talking to by Jack Morgan. As we approach 70 minutes gone here, it looks as if Avondale might be making a change. And it will be Kitatsu Kojima who will look to come on now. This is only his second appearance of the Senol NPL Men's Victoria. George Ott will come off. I'm not sure if he knows it yet. Just yet. He's completely oblivious to it. And only now has he decided to come off. But Katsatsu Kojima, of course, did all the damage here at Adventure Park last year for Melbourne City Excelsior.
Yeah, I think he's come back after injury. He's just starting to get some minutes. I think he's someone that can influence the game. Although, to be fair, I think George Ott's played really well. I think he's been the link, and it's now Avondale who're giving away cheap possession in the middle of the field, and it's City who've got all the momentum.
McIntosh, heavy touch. Of course, Kojima won the J3 with Raso Kumamoto. And we do see him now here, the Japanese import, as a slightly overhit pass, and Fornaroli not quite timing his run there. Has plenty of experience in J3. Scored 3 goals in 8 games in the Australian Championship with Melbourne City Excelsior. J3, of course, is seemingly the flavour of Avondale as well, with, of course, Seita Murai having experience in that competition, and Melbourne Victory's Charles Nduka having played the majority of his football in that tier as well. Victory's head coach Arthur Dillies is in attendance today. Gary, I did see him at half-time. So he's keeping a very keen eye on this contest. Oh, it's a really good move from Kutleshi towards the byline. Can he force the ball inside? He can't. Here is Kojima.
This whole momentum's changed. We're actually spending most of our time looking from right to left where City are attacking, and that's just come from one situation where Big Reed was trying to play out instead of being safe. They get done in transition. It's a great ball by Bella to the back post. Cartwright scores, and all of a sudden this momentum has changed from one end of the pitch to the other, and it's City that look as though they have all the energy and all the nous to try and get the second goal in this game.
City have rarely come back from positions like these. They've been rarely forced into positions of true adversity across the campaign, which is a new task for them to overcome. That is a fantastic and delightful touch from Bruno Fornaroli, and Liam Bonatig is going to go into the book here.
Yeah, he's pleading his innocence, but it's a definite foul. And already what we've seen with Kojima is he's prepared to break the line, and that second or third man run that you're looking from deep, he was in that little hole and he was through, and Bonatig had no option but to pull him back there. Tidy little combination play from Fornaroli and Kojima, and he's certainly added a bit of spark to Avondale in the sort of middle of in that central corridor.
I think Carpenter might go direct here. It's Blake Carpenter! Magical! Absolutely sublime! A free kick of the highest order. That is top drawer.
Phenomenal. And you know what? The youngsters, if you're watching, you'll understand this terminology. That's a knuckleball. So basically, he struck it, and we've watched from behind, and it's dipped, and it's changed a little bit of direction. And he scored the free kick against Dundee City. He had a little sighter to begin with in the first, just at the start of the second half, and that goal from Carpenter is absolutely phenomenal. And I've just watched the Avondale bench giving everybody, and Reid pulling everybody in and saying, hey, let's not make the same mistake after we went 2-0 up. Let's keep us all focused here. Brilliant finish.
I'm not sure if I'm watching Cristiano Ronaldo against Portsmouth in the late 2000s or Blake Carpenter against Melbourne City in 2026. That is the best free kick you'll see this weekend. It doesn't get any better than that, really.
Oh.
It's a commentator's dream, really. I mean,
yeah, it is. And you know what? You had a little drink of water before he was lining up, and I thought might be something happening here. You're getting the voice ready, and it was phenomenal. Brilliant strike.
And it might not be done here, Avondale. Here's Trycheski. a bit of confidence imbued within the side. You can't blame him. Here's Kutleshi. Oh, he's still going, Kutleshi. He's got space and time to shoot. He does so.
He's travelled a long way. He's travelled 60, 70 metres there. He shrugged off Trzeski as he was going through. I felt he ran out of steam with the shot, but it was, again, this game's turned into a bit of a cup tie, end-to-end stuff. I think Avondale just need to try and get some control in this game, because if you don't, you're going to allow Melbourne City to continue to create the odd half chance. And again, if they get back into this game from 3-1 down, it's going to be an interesting last 20 minutes.
Balla did well there to evade the pressing from Avondale, and of course you would definitely think that they are good for at least another goal to add some more questions to this Avondale side, who have, mind you, only made the one change. So has Melbourne City. Here's Angus McIntosh with the outside of the foot pass. Wellsmore, Bonatig.
That's bad. That's back-to-back bad balls by Wellsmore. It was sloppy. They've never learned from when they went 2-0 up. They're playing in this little area outside their box and encouraging mistakes. And you know what? They're going to continue to allow Melbourne City to think that they can still get back into this game.
Plenty of talk about Avondale in their off-season. What it really was, of course, Zoran Markovsky departing the club. The squad's been significantly depleted in terms of players and numbers, but this new look Avondale is exciting to watch. Really, really good team to watch. And so too are Melbourne City, is with Lawrence Wong. That's a great pass. It's Kutleshi! Oh, it's a really, really, really awesome pass to feed it into the space. And Bessian Kutleshi just couldn't find the opportunity there. And here come Avondale, conversely. Runa Fornaroli. This has been the clash all afternoon with Jaden Nikovsky. It's Fornaroli still. Well done from the young defender. Cartwright. City have to exert urgency going forward. Wong.
I'm loving this game now. It's a game that's got an attacking intent to it. Avondale, although 3-1 up, you still feel in transition are looking to try and get the killer fourth. City, they're gambling in that front third, they're leaving people forward, and when they get ball, they're trying to get it into one-on-one. I think Ballas played really well second half. First half he was anonymous. He's done a lot of bright things in the wide area here. I think Wellsmore's had a tough time against him in the second half. And again, you know, Baker is sitting in that 10 channel in the false 9. He's the link through the centre. And it's, I think next goal is going to be crucial. Avondale get the next one, I think it's game over. If City were to get it, you wouldn't bank on them not being able to get a draw.
Absolutely so. And I guess Avondale have to set the tempo in order to really send that message as City do win it back. Again, that's another poor giveaway from Emily Wellsmore. And there's left space for Roland Balla, free on this left-hand channel. And just about has given away the foul there.
You know, it's been really tough, but Wellsmore's had he's had a pretty ordinary 2 or 3 minutes, because he's probably given the ball away every time he's had it, and then he's given away a cheap foul in that situation there. And
yeah, the change has been made.
Another opportunity to throw it in.
Another change as well. Christian Politsoudas is going to come on. Spend time at Victory and Western United's youth systems. Boston off. Seems as if they're going to adopt a more centralised mindset when it comes to player and personnel. Baker with the delivery. Oh, there was Timber at the back post. Tall Timber, in fact. Carpenter body checks. Politsoudas, his first task is to play it towards Cartwright. There's Balla! And last touch came off Roland Balla.
Cartwright's done well since he's come on. He's got the goal. He's been lively. He's created a couple of opportunities. Good delivery there. Bella's stepped up in this second half. You know, it's turned into a really, really entertaining game at the moment. You know, Avondale trying to soak a little bit of pressure, but there just looks that youthful exuberance in the front end of the park from Melbourne City at the moment, and they seem to be playing with just about a 4 across the front.
That seems to be the case as Muir heads on. Trycheski. It's Fornaroli. Can he do it once again? Oh, a great stop from Lockie Charles. Almost nonchalant in the way that he got his hands over the ball. And now Lawrence Wong has got space to run in. Valentini was right behind him. Balla did well. Wong. McIntosh. Nice work.
Lockie Charles is a good shot stopper, isn't he? That's one of his strengths. He makes himself big. He gets himself out quickly. Strong hands.
City are going to make another change, it seems. I think Ryan Calms will be brought on, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they stick him up top, because he can play as a number 9 as well, and a centre half. Bonatic with a switch. Out wide. Kutleshi, can he keep it in? He can. And he actually has done really well. Here's Cartwright. It's Baker. Now McIntosh. It's a heavy, heavy touch. And Kojima is going to force it long. Of course, Avondale still have plenty of injuries. Adam Zimmerino, of course, waiting to come back. It's really good work from Cartwright. Even better work from Max Green. That's great. Fornaroli. Kojima. He'll take his time here. They're in no rush. The Avengers. City now. In the central channel. McIntosh. Wong. The task set for Balla potentially. But it's Baker. The 1-2 with Lawrence Wong. That's an overhit pass.
There's a vibrancy about City when they go forward now. Really is. They're moving the ball quickly. They're dropping the ball in. They're getting willing runners.
And that will be the change. Angus McIntosh coming off for Ryan Calms. Did score goals in the promotion playoff. 7 goals in 27 games in VPL1 last year. Ex-Bendigo City youngster. Usually he's City's captain, but I don't think
he is.
Usually, well, of course.
He's headed up top.
Oh, yes. Yes. Hey, this is, I'm getting sort of flashbacks of, Harry Maguire up top. About NPL Victoria. Lucas Inglese was played up top a lot of the time last year at South Melbourne. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I wonder how it plays out.
But if you're going to play a big physical guy, you've got to get runners round about him. You've got to get people gambling on second man run as well. That's an area that he's going to pull people onto him. Can people operate around that side?
Huge mistake from Liam Bonatig and Lockie Charles as well off his line there. And Bruno Fornaroli said, why not?
Both subs, you look at Kojima's added a wee bit to Avondale going forward. Cartwright has certainly added something to Melbourne City since he's come on. And, I think Baker's operated far better in that central half 10 position, Beckham Baker, and I think that's where he's done a lot of his good work today in that central corridor.
Well, Might City opts for the long throw here. Seems to be an avenue adopted by a lot of sides this season. Here is Calms. Looking for the flick on for Lawrence Wong. Mikulski should have got front position there and eventually does succeed. Here's Kutleshi. Space up ahead of him. It's Bessian Kutleshi. Pokes it out wide. Cartwright did really well there. Looking to drive inside is Cartwright. It's an errant ball. Kojima. Trycheski. Fornaroli will take his time here, you would expect. And launch it into the path of Kojima. If he can keep it in, but he can't.
It's 3-1 to Avondale at the moment, but I would say that Kutleshi's been one of the best players in the park. I think he's been head and shoulders the driving force in that probably 60, 70 metre central corridor from front to back. He's been the driving force. He's wanted ball. He's been all over the place. He has genuinely been the catalyst for everything that Melbourne City have done today. He's been the best player in the park.
I would have to agree and echo your sentiments there. He's got this quality about him. 17 to dictate play. And that is a heavy, heavy, heavy touch from Bonatic again. It's Kojima. Now Fornaroli. Out towards Kojima. Oh, nearly quite on the line, but Lucky Charles involved in the playing out from the back there as well. Hasn't Liam Bonatic and Nekovsky had plenty of struggles this afternoon. Kudleshi steaming through, bypasses past Muir. Oh, it's a very out of the ordinary pass from Kudleshi, and Cartwright might be set a task again, driving into an obtuse angle.
You know, we've heard us talk about this all afternoon. It's that 1 or 2 seconds of concentration to hit the accurate pass. What a run again. His energy has been phenomenal for City today.
That's a great ball to find Roland Balla! Oh! Had to get the angle right. It was a tough one.
It's a great touch. He's brought it down, but again, it's come from Kudleshi again with a great reverse ball in behind Wellsmore, who's really struggled this second half to contain Balla. Takes it down, and really, he'll be disappointed. I think, Stuart McDonald will be disappointed. That's a chance to get to within a goal of Avondale. That's a huge opportunity that's been missed.
Jimmy Jago echoing the sentiment for second balls as Gibson goes along. Politsudis gets the initial touch. Cartwright, Wong. Carpenter steps up. Kojima. Green. Turning the Jets on now is Max Green across to Carpenter. Tame effort on goal. Now Cartwright. He's got Wong deep. Decides to use him. Balla can't keep it in.
I think Wong's played well also for Melbourne City. His distribution's been good.
And looks as if Avondale are going to make another change as well. Ayuk Mo set to come on shortly. An acquisition from Sydney. Sydney United, in fact. It's only his second appearance in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria for the Avengers, having only featured in that round 2 2-0 loss to the Bentley Greens. And off-coming will be Stefan Valentini. Mo, 20 years old, formerly of Sydney FC's Youth Academy. 2 goals in the NPL New South Wales last season for the Central Coast Mariners Academy side. I think Paolo Gattoli is also set to come on as well. Fornaroli. Travella pass. Green. Cartwright. Kudleshi. What an incredible oxygen tank he has. And the back heel from Calms. Cartwright, can he keep it in? He can! Oh, Ryan Calms! In fact, it took a deflection. It's gone out for a City throw.
Yeah, it did. That was a good move again. But Kudleshi again is, he's driving forward. Cartwright again's done really well. And, we actually thought it was Calm. Just took a little deflection.
A rare mistake from Fornaroli.
It's probably about his first poor ball all afternoon.
If your first poor decision is in the 90th minute, you're doing something right. Here's Trycheski. Kojima to his left. Keeps it in. Tense Kojima. Now towards Max Green. Nice bit of interplay. The two Avondale arrivals. It's Green again. It's Kojima. Space to shoot!
Yeah, it's good combination play. Really good combination play down the left-hand side. Green, who's been at the heart of most of the good stuff down the sides for Avondale today, and we've been impressed so far with Kojima, who's come on. Little 1-2, drops into that space. Again, he's trying to wrap his foot round it for the far corner. Just doesn't get enough purchase on the ball, and it flies out.
5 minutes of added time here. Can City at least make Avondale think a little bit? Reed does really well there. Matt Baker. It's a really nice incisive ball towards Carms, but a bit too much push and shove in the way. And Paolo Gattoli is going to come on, the Avondale youth product. Spent some time at Empoli as well.
5 to go. You know, there's been changes galore that's coming on, but it's been a really, really entertaining second half of football. Both sides have created chances. Both teams have played far higher tempo than it was in the first half. It was a bit of a standoffish sort of game with two banks of 4-4-4-2 out of possession. But second half, both sides have gone for it. And it's Avondale who look as though they're going to win the spoils of it.
Fornaroli looking to try his luck. Wasn't quite successful in his attempt. And now Emlyn Wellsmore. Trycheski. Avondale looking to see this one out. Of course, their next match against Heidelberg United. What an important game that will prove to be. Mo driving wide. City with urgency. Kudleshi. And now Carpenter. Fornaroli. Back towards Carpenter. And it's claimed by Lockie Charles. They're toying with him at the moment in the attacking third, because City want to do a bit of work in their attacking third as well. Here is Roland Balla.
Poluzudius did really well at the back post to get back, used his body, got himself across, had to be 100% accurate with his challenge, because if not, it's got penalty written all over it, and he did really well, and Lockie Charles is out as a support to claim the ball as well. But it's been a thoroughly entertaining game. There's been 4 cracking goals in it, none more so than Carpenter's free kick, which was just out of the top drawer, along with a poacher's finish for Fornaroli, where you'd expect him to be. Georgiot got the game on the way and to get his goal. And again, Bella's played well second half. Cartwright with a good finish at the back post. And all in all, it's been a thoroughly entertaining second half.
Thoroughly entertaining indeed. Here is Roland Balla. City just trying to get at least one more opportunity to, I guess, more or less improve the goal difference at this point. Wong out wide. Balla, nice shape. Kudleshi looked to force this one in again. He has done. And it has come off the back of Flotman. Cartwright across the face. Here's Matt Baker and now Politsudis. Will he try his luck again? Politsudis. Beckham Baker took a deflection out for a corner.
Yeah, it's a frantic finish from City. They've got nothing to lose now. They're going to throw everything forward and try and grab something to create a nervous couple of minutes. But you feel that Avondale, if they can see this corner out, they've done enough to get 3 points and get themselves into the top 3 of the league.
And they have done enough, it seems. That last touch did come off a Melbourne City player. So as the table stands in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria, Avondale will move into second place. 2 points clear of Bentley and Oakley, who have got a game in hand. Oakley, of course, but after their really poor start to the season. They have really shut everyone up just about. And as for Melbourne City, of course, doesn't really get any easier for them. Next week at home, they'll face off against Hume City. But of course, with A-League commitments subsiding, they might get a few more players back before the enforced break in late June. As we're past 95 minutes now, Mo have Avondale got one more potentially in their locker. Kotoli, Kojima entering the box on that right-hand flank, doing his work. Nikovsky. Here's Beckham Baker. Towards Cartwright. Just checking onto his left. Driving forward now. It's Aaron Cartwright. That's really well done from Patrick Flopman. Morgan looks at his watch, blows his whistle, and ensures what was a very tidy 3-1 win from Avondale. The opening goal came from George Ott. Bruno Fornaroli delivered in the second half. And, well, didn't Blake Carpenter put the cherry on top with a miraculous free kick from just about 40 yards out. Roland Bella contributed to make it 2-1 following a great cross towards the back post. But just a real professional performance from Avondale.
Yeah, second half was a really, really good game. I thought both sides went for it second half. I think Avondale have started to really get some momentum about them and get a style of football now that is recognisable. They move up into the top two of the league. They'll be delighted with the result. Both strikers on the score sheet. Blockbuster free kick from Carpenter and a thoroughly enjoyable second 45 minutes. And it's Avondale that take the spoils. And again, it's only City's second defeat of the season. But these draws are certainly not been helping them. But they certainly added to a very, very entertaining game this afternoon. But overall, Avondale deserved the points, deserved to win the game. And it was a brilliant afternoon here.
Well, that's it from Avenger Park at the Reggio Calabria Club. Final score is Avondale 3, Melbourne City 1. Plenty of action tonight in the Senol NPL Men's Victoria. Don't adjust your TV sets. Make sure you watch those two games tonight as well, as Caroline Springs George Cross take on Heidelberg and Altona Magic take on the Dandenong Thunder. Thank you and good night.
None from me.
That's good, mate. I'm glad. That free kick was just
It's a knuckle. It's just moving it in.
he can do that,
Yeah, because it's a goal against Stanley City. The first was very similar.
Yeah.
He jumped into the one.